Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from the beaches of Goa, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host Raghunath and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Goa. We're here.
Beaches of Goa, huh?
The beaches of Goa. Best beaches. Oh, that's right. 1 year ago, we got in that fight, remember? We were claiming that you were
It wasn't a fight. You were just
us.
putting down the beach that I was at for no reason. It wasn't a fight.
It was just, it's riddled with jellyfish. That's why.
It's so crazy that I'd never
so
seen a
good.
jellyfish there, but then I did see one. I bumped into one jellyfish.
That's
Bumped right
right.
into it.
That's right.
I've
Oh, that
never
was
seen
funny.
a jellyfish there in all the years I've been going there.
I've wished it upon you. due
Yeah,
to
and I
my,
bumped it. I
power of
was swimming.
intention.
I was doing like a little backstroke out there, and I bumped into something. I was like, what is that? I was like, oh my god, it's a jellyfish.
And they're big, man. Those jellyfish.
It wasn't
are
so
big.
big. It was an average sized jellyfish.
I saw a big one. Okay.
Yeah,
How's it going in Mayapur, Prabhu?
everything's nice.
Yeah, you got some.
You know, yesterday was Vashant
Panchami.
Panchami. Yesterday was
Vashant Panchami. We were on it was Vashant Panchami on Valentine's Day
Yeah, Vashant Panchami is the first day of spring in India.
with the Indian or subtropical.
Lunar
You know,
calendar.
Well, they have six seasons. So it's the first day of spring, and the cool thing is it's a big holiday, but it's special for Krishna bhaktas because all the deities in Vrindavan wear yellow cloth, yellow outfits.
Did you see
deities
photos
in Mayapur?
Did you see photos from Mayapur?
I did not. I didn't see them. Oh, you did.
Raghunath?
Marissa saw them.
It was like
was it breathtaking?
jaw-dropping. It was like, and I mean, even the photographs are incredibly great, but they still don't even capture it when you're there. Oh man, like they open up those curtains, and the whole place is just freaking out. You know, it's so beautiful, so beautiful.
There's
Radha,
two stages
Krishna, all the
There's two
gopis.
stages in a person's life. One is when they see deities and they're like, "Oh, interesting." Another when they're like, "It was beautiful." Like when you know what I mean? At
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
it's sort of like, "Oh, interesting cultural dolls dressed up in outfits," and then there's a point where you're like, "I love you. I want to take
They're
a photo
more
of
real
I want to take a
than
photo
me."
of the deities." You keep photos of the deities on your desk. You send them to other people. You put them on your Instagram.
Yeah,
Your non-devotee friends are like, "Are you crazy? You've crossed that threshold."
long time ago.
Yeah. Gonna do a shout out to Yvette, our regular Zoomer and friend at Super Soul. Yvette's her birthday yesterday. Missed the show, but we love you, Yvette. Another
Love
day
Yvette.
closer to death. Hare Krishna. No, that's
Okay.
that's a little devotee thing. That's a devotee thing. We say birth, never take birth again on your birthday. We sing that. May you never take birth again. It's really stupid, but devotees sing that every
I
time.
don't do it.
I don't do that. I don't participate in that.
Because actually, you know, we do want to take birth in the family of the cowherd people, and
Well, that's not taking birth.
that is taking birth.
No, it's not. You're not.
It is
maybe.
because first you take birth in.
Well, I guess we
Gokul
should.
Vrindavan.
I guess the song should be "May we never take material birth again." unless we want to come back and serve our guru.
But that would get even.
We got to
cornier, so
rework
it's
that
like-
whole devotee birthday song.
Or
Let's just stick with Hare
abandon it.
Krishna to you, Hare
Oh
Krishna
no, that one
to
I don't
you.
like either. Yeah.
Oh, really? That one works out so perfectly in perfect rhythm.
All right. Okay. All right, right. Why don't we check in with Mara, see how she's doing over there in Goa?
Malibu Mara is doing quite well. She's bronzing up quite well.
Can you turn the camera?
Have you guys been bronzing already? When did you arrive?
No, she's working on the Wisdom of the Sages cookbook.
Oh,
I
Think
am.
about that, all her secret recipes.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
revealed,
Yes.
great.
concealed, revealed. A revolution, a solution that you can consume.
Are you going to do one of those things where like you have to cook everything and then take photographs of it?
Yeah,
Yeah, like a cookbook.
like a cookbook. You mean? Or no, we're
I
just
mean,
gonna
some
draw.
not all
I'm gonna draw
cookbooks have
pictures of-
photographs.
I'm gonna draw
Yeah.
pictures of her subgies.
She doesn't know yet, but I think I'm gonna try and coerce Ann Watson into helping me because that's what she does. She's a
Hey,
food stylist and
shit.
photographer.
She's a food
There you go.
stylist.
Okay,
Yeah.
food stylist. And then we can all come over and we can have a big party at that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's do it. Let's eat.
Yeah.
At Ann Watson's house. Okay, let's go on.
Okay.
Mara.
Bhakti Recovery Group meetings today at noon and 1:30. And Cult of Cain Asana class tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. for our Patreon members.
All right, Patreon. You're not a
Excellent.
Patreon member. Now's the time to do it. Support us. If you like what we're doing, go out there, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages and give a big chunk of your monthly income to us.
We're
That's
gonna
how you'll become dear to God.
Oh, hey. Okay, let's get into the nugget. Freaking out.
I
over
could
there.
be like one of those one of those, like, what are they called? Those
evangelical
evangelical guys.
prosperity gospel.
God needs you. God wants you to be abundant, but you got to give back to God. You think you can just pray to God for stuff? You dial this number at the bottom of the screen. Mara will be waiting by the phone to take your tax deductible gift.
Okay, Rogan. Let's hear the nugget. Who's it from today?
Today's nugget is from. This is a good. It's not. This is your. Oh, crud. I'm on the wrong computer. Here it is. All right, this is from Edmund Hillary.
Who's that?
I think he climbed Mount Everest.
Yeah, he was Edmund Hillary was he was a New Zealander, a New Zealand mountaineer, explorer, and philanthropist. And on the 29th of May, 1953, he and Tenzing Norgay became the first climbers confirmed to have reached the summit of Mount Everest. So
You
he
know
climbed first guy.
You
known
know
to climb.
those Nepalese have done it before they did. The Nepalese were the guys carrying everything.
Well, that Tenzing Norgay, he was a Sherpa
Oh,
mountaineer.
he was a Sherpa first. Oh, he was a Sherpa.
Yeah.
Tenzing Norgay. It sounds like he's a Norwegian guy.
Well.
No? Tenzing? Okay, look that up, Mara. Okay. Anyway, they made it to the top. They
Okay.
conquered the mountain. And what does he say?
What
It
did
is
he
not
say?
the
What did he-
mountain we conquer, but ourselves. That's
Aha.
his quote. It is not the mountain that we conquer, but I like how you're tying this all in to Hiraṇyakaśipu, my friend.
Oh, you think that's what I was doing?
Well, yeah, because here is
There's a lot of
Hiraṇyakaśipu.
conquering.
In one sense, he's
Oh. Uh-oh, Roga's freezing on us. Well, hopefully Roga will be back soon. This is the problem when you go to places like Goa. You never know what kind of internet you're going to get. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about this quote here. Yeah, Rogan's saying that I tied it into Hiraṇyakaśipu, and in a sense, I think we can't say that because we're reading about him and how, he conquered so many enemies. He doesn't just conquer enemies. Hiraṇyakaśipu conquered he conquered like planetary systems. He was like a universal conqueror. But we'll see. He didn't conquer the self. And as I read that nugget from Edmund Hillary, I thought, okay, he's probably a pretty thoughtful guy. You do a lot of mountain climbing like that. You get to the top of Mount Everest. You have some, you think about life and you think about what you're doing. And to climb that mountain, I suppose to many people, obviously it's like quite a, huge accomplishment. Let me see. We may have Raghunath back. I got to see if I need to. You with us, Raghunath?
No, you know what? We had a
There you go.
blackout, so my Wi-Fi went out. We're hot spotting.
Oh, that was a blackout. Gotcha. Oh, you're hotspotting now? Oh, but you're freezing up on us now. Yeah, you're lagging, guy. In any case, so I was saying, you climb that mountain, and this is his thought, right? It's in one sense, you have to climb the mountain. That's got to be some huge challenge. But even from a relatively materialistic point of view, what the mountain climber's doing is they're conquering their own self. They're conquering, maybe it's their fears, or maybe they're conquering their Raghunath, you're lagged out big time. We can't hear you. I don't mind that he's here. Let me This is when things break. Okay, now he's gone again. So the mountain climbers realizing, yeah, maybe I'm conquering my fear to climb the mountain. In climbing the mountain, maybe I'm conquering my tolerance. My ability to tolerate the cold, or even conquering one's own. Obviously, you become tired, you become hungry. It's in so many ways. One's not conquering the mountain, but they're conquering something that's internal. But to go deeper still, what I like about this statement, it's not, in one sense, climbing Mount Everest is kind of like the stereotypical kind of like that was my Mount Everest or whatever, like that's seen as like a metaphor for overcoming whatever hurdles that we have in life. And I think that what I liked about it was that we could see anything that we do in life as a personal project, right? Like, in other words, and we hear from people all the time on this podcast, people that are going to work that want to practice bhakti, but I have to go to work, so it seems like I don't have time to practice bhakti, or I'm taking care of 3 children and going to work, and so what time do I have to do that internal work? But from this statement, what I take from it is that anything that we do in life can become a personal project. So in other words, I'm going to work and I have things that I need to accomplish at work, but it's not those things that I'm conquering. Really, what I'm conquering is myself. And what is it internally that we're trying to conquer? Yeah. And when I looked at that, I thought maybe I could share a little something. I did something for Vani, for this online platform that we encourage people to subscribe to. They got a lot of nice content. A lot of our friends are on there. Vani, Vani. You can probably just Google Vani.com. But I did something I did like a course for them. It was like a 17-lesson course. And then to get that, you have to subscribe to their platform. But they also give out free content. And in that free content, it was a talk that I gave. It was about a 20-minute talk. I wish I had a link for it. Maybe we could put the link in for this in the details of this podcast. But I spoke about what the title of it was 3 ways, the Sage's Insight, 3 ways of mastering the mind. And those 3 ways are, taken straight from the Bhagavad Gita: the mastery of evenness of mind, the mastery of equal vision, and the mastery of inner happiness, right? So in Sanskrit, evenness of mind is samatvam, equal vision is samadarshana, and antasukha is the inner happiness. And I just kind of, because I was just going to mention these things, but because we're having trouble connecting with Raghunath, maybe I'll just go ahead and read a bit from the script for this. But really, it had to do with like, okay, we got Raghunath coming back. Let's see, we'll see if he's got a good connection. But what I wrote there was, try this even for a week, right? We all have our own little Mount Everest that we have to climb, but it's really, again, this self-work that we can do through it. So let's say you're going to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Raghunath, are you there? Welcome back. Oh, there you go. You
A
got it.
little
You
black
got
now.
your regular connection back now?
Yeah, let's try it.
Okay. Yeah, it seems pretty good.
What I
So
miss out?
I was just saying, Raghunath, that what I liked about what was his name? Edmund whatever?
Hillary.
Edmund Hillary. What I liked
Yeah.
about his statement was we can take that and we can use it ourselves, that anything that we have to do in this world, which may seem separate from our practice of bhakti, can actually become part of our bhakti practice if we see it as whatever it is that we have to conquer in that realm, like on the job or whatever. We really see it as, no, it's not this job that I'm conquering. We could put it this way. He says it's not the mountain that you conquer, but it's yourself. We could say it's not the work of the job that I'm doing, but I'm working on myself. Right. And so then how does one do that? I was going to read this because we didn't have a good connect, but maybe now that I've already talked about it, I should just go ahead and get into it. You want me to read? I'll read you a little something that was from this talk that I did on Vani. You want to hear, brother?
Please.
Okay, so this is just about how a normal job could turn into a practice of self-mastery. So I said, after you wake up in the morning, so there's because there's a lifestyle that goes behind it, right? After you wake up in the morning, you get out of bed. And after you take a shower, you put on some clean clothes, and then you sit down in a quiet place. You take a few deep breaths, maybe say a prayer to God in your heart. Then you pick up the Bhagavad Gita and you read a chapter. And you don't just speed through the texts, but you take the verses in, you reflect on them. You try to let them speak to your soul and to strengthen your intellect, so that when you leave the shelter of your home and you begin your daily responsibilities, you'll see things more clearly. So then, when you set out for your day, you've got an intention clearly set. You've got a mission to deepen that insight that you gathered in your readings. As you go to work, you can think, I'm not my body. I'm not my senses. I'm not even the mind that I'm seeing the world through. I'm a spark of spirit moving through a material world in a material body. I know that according to my actions in the past, I'm destined for some pleasure today and some suffering as well. I witness both of them come and go with an even mind. Right? Things may go well at work today, or they may go not so well. That's not under my control. What is under my control is the effort that I give. So I'll give it my best effort, and I'll be detached from the results. Whether it's a good day at work or not so good, I won't be depressed or elated either way. I'm not interested in the flickering happiness of material gain. I'm focused on uncovering the steady spiritual happiness that's deep within me. Every person that I encounter today, I'll try to see them based on the truth that they're all like me, a pure spark of spiritual energy. I'll try not to judge them based on their body. If they're kind to me, that'll be nice. And if they're unkind, I'll reflect on the truth that I've also been unkind in the past. I'll tolerate the unkindness, think of their eternal spiritual nature, and return the unkindness with kindness.
Ah,
You like that right now?
yeah. Remember that if I ever act unkind,
Okay,
return it with kindness.
return it with kindness. Now,
did you tie this into Hiraṇyakaśipu, the guy who had
well,
everything?
we can do that in a
but
moment. Let's hold
still
on to that.
couldn't? Okay.
Yeah, but I'll
Because
just
I've got some research myself here, sir.
Okay, awesome. All right. Let me wrap this up. At every step of the day, choice by choice, you can be training your mind to view the world and to respond to the world in a different way. The more you engage the mind in this kind of wisdom, the more the mind picks up on it and begins to respond accordingly. It becomes automatic, second nature. And when we make it our second nature, our lives change. The wisdom really goes right to the heart of the conflicts and problems in life. They directly counteract the illusion and fear that's deeply rooted in most of us, deeply rooted for many lifetimes. So now the three that I discuss, and not just to wrap this up, I discuss each one of them and how they transform you and the people around you. And it says the mastery of evenness of mind will empower you so that even when things are shifting externally in ways that seem problematic, you won't be shaken. You won't enter into depression, frustration, anger, or conflict. In the face of potential conflict with others, where others are feeling a sense of vulnerability due to fear of change, you'll have a cool head and can be a voice of reason. The mastery of equal vision will empower you so that you'll be able to see everyone you meet, every living being as sacred, regardless of who they are, where they're from, or any bodily consideration. This vision will allow you to treat people with a deeper level of respect, a deeper level of kindness, ultimately a deeper level of love. People will feel this coming from you. You'll gain people's trust, and you'll be empowered to serve as an instrument of peace wherever you go. And the mastery of inner happiness will relieve you of so much unnecessary endeavor. It will be a huge burden off your back. You will deeply imbibe that your happiness is not dependent on anything external, and that you've got everything you need to be happy within yourself. And that you've got everything you need to be happy within yourself, you'll no longer feel that you have to impose your needs on others. You'll be free of the fear that you need to change others or the behavior of others in order to be secure and happy. You'll be naturally carefree, freeing up space in your mind and your heart to care for others. So these three ideas, these three ways to master the mind: evenness of the mind, equal vision, and inner happiness. This is what it really means to be spiritual, to think, feel, and act spiritual. So that's, there's a way that no matter what you do in this world, right? No matter what your job is, it may seem totally disconnected, but there are ways that it doesn't become about what you're doing, but it becomes more about what's happening inside as you do it. And so it's not the mountain that you conquer, it's yourself that you conquer.
You
Please
brought this
share your
up
thoughts.
because of Hiraṇyakaśipu and the stuff he was going through and what he has accomplished and how he threw it all away.
Yeah. He conquered the planetary systems, right? He conquered the universe. He all his enemies he conquered, but he never conquered the self. And it crashes hard.
The lust, anger, the greed, the hatred, the illusion, etc.
Yes.
Remember the other day I was talking about Howard Hughes, and I gave some little
you
bit
Howard
of
Hughes.
insight into his life. Well, check this out. Just today, Mara was reading something, and she gave this whole great little interesting blurb on Howard Hughes.
Okay.
He was died in 1976. He was one of the most financially successful American business magnates of the 20th century. He is listed as
he was into a lot of things, right? He was into aviation, and he was into movies and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Well, check out some of these things. He's listed as the 44th richest man in history. Here are a couple of the incidents that show the extent of his wealth. He once went to live in the penthouse suite of Desert Inn, a 5-star hotel in Las Vegas. After many weeks, the manager got fed up and sought to evict him. Hughes purchased the hotel and then stayed on, since he was now the proprietor.
I wonder what he did with that guy that was trying to get rid of him.
He had him off. He loved watching old movies on television, especially at night. In those days, there was no TV station in Las Vegas airing movies throughout the night. So he purchased an existing station and got it to screen movies from the genre of his choice.
Okay. So this guy's just out of control here.
He's just out of control. This is short, though, a little bit more, Aaron. However, despite all his financial success, he could not control his thoughts. In midlife, he developed a phobia of germs and a mania for secrecy. He believed he was free of microbes, but they would attack him from the outside. The dread of germs became an obsession. To protect himself, he would repeatedly clean his hands until they bled. Whoa. While serving him, his staff had strict instructions to hold all cutlery in paper napkins after having washed their hands 3 times. If any of his domestic help fell sick, he would get scared of excessive germs in the house. Consequently, he would get his entire wardrobe burnt and replaced. During the last 2 decades of his life, he frequently moved between hotels in Las Vegas, the Bahamas, Nicaragua, Canada, England, and Mexico. His penthouse would be especially primed with black curtains and sealed windows. He considered them to be germ-free zones and would work in them isolated from harmful germs he believed were outside. Though unimaginably wealthy, he spent his final days mentally imprisoned by his own horror of contamination and elaborate cleaning rituals. Intriguingly, he neglected his own hygiene and rarely bathed or brushed his teeth.
That's sad.
Had it all. Yeah. Yeah, we
Conquer the
we have
world,
to
didn't
become
conquer the self.
got to become emotion managers to have success in this world, huh?
What do you call it?
Emotion managers. You have to be able
Oh,
to
you
manage
manage
your
your own
emotions.
emotions. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I don't do well
Yeah.
with that. I'm working on it.
Me too.
Now, come on, you're pretty good.
No, there's a long way to go. We're on a long way to go. It all,
All right.
it all plays out when you sit down to chant that japa and you just see how peaceful that mind is,
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
what is it reaching for? What kind of memories is it reaching for? What kind of fantasies is it reaching for? What kind of distraction is it reaching for? Because it's not settled.
Hmm. I'm working on chanting with my breath.
Hmm.
5.5. Yeah. Yes, I am. 5.5 seconds in, 5.5 seconds out. Interestingly enough, that's the same length of time as the rosary and as the Buddhist chant Om Mani Padme Hum.
Okay.
It regulates the body, regulates the mind. That's why I'm doing it. I'm helping it. I'm trying to make it sort of like
How
if you
long
were to
does it
see
take to chant
brain
around?
scans. Huh?
How long does it take to chant around?
I got to do the math, but I'm not sure, truthfully. Someone smart out there can figure it out. But my point is, I'm trying to get, you ever see like brain waves of a person who's in meditation? I'm trying to get my brain waves like that when I'm chanting so I can be really just calm instead of just like, instead of like machine gunning the japa out of my mouth.
Did you chant on the beach
Controlled
this morning?
breathing. Yes, I did.
Very nice.
Finished my rounds on the beach and did extra rounds just walking around.
Well, that's a 9.9-minute round, Raghunath. That's a long round.
Oh, is it? Well, that's okay. It's not a race,
You got the
Kostuba.
time.
It's not a race. It's yeah. Okay, let's get into the Bhagavatam, sir.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam madhirayat. Before we start in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord, Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesha bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome in the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Midatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes. With the torchlight of knowledge, I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. We should make a video of that and put it on our YouTube channel.
A video of the mantras?
Of us chanting the mantras with the words underneath? Because I bet there's people joining. In the old days, we used to put them up on the board. And now we're just sort of assuming people are just figuring them out. What do you think?
We used to put them up on the board?
I think sometimes we used to put them on the chat board.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, we can do that.
How many people don't know those mantras? Write it on the board for us now, please. Okay, so we're reading. Listen to this. Name of this chapter. Hiraṇyakaśipu terrorizes the universe.
Yeah.
That's a pretty great name title, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's not terrorizing a family, not terrorizing a town. He's terrorizing the whole damn universe.
It's going to be mentioned that there are basically 3 people in the universe that weren't terrorized by him. And that was Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu, yeah.
Okay. Probably Narada wasn't scared either.
No, Narada's telling the story, and he says, even I was having to kind of like praise him and,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's Narada. Ready? Narada continued. Lord Brahma was very much satisfied by Hiraṇyakashipu's austerities, which were difficult to perform. Therefore, when solicited for benedictions, he indeed granted them, although they were rarely to be achieved. Lord Brahma said,
so we can remind people he had this elaborate kind of, he wanted all these benedictions, how he couldn't be killed in this way and he couldn't be killed in that way. So it almost seemed like it was impossible to kill him.
But there was a caveat.
Okay.
There was some fine small print how he could be killed. Lord Brahma said, O Hiraṇyakaśipu, these benedictions for which you have asked for are difficult to obtain for most men. Nonetheless, O my son, I shall grant you them, although they are generally not available. Then Lord Brahma, who awards infallible benedictions, departed, being worshipped by the best of demons, Hiraṇyakaśipu, and being praised by great sages and saintly persons. The demon Hiraṇyakaśipu, having thus been blessed by Lord Brahma and having acquired a lustrous golden body, continued to remember the death of his brother and therefore be envious of Lord Vishnu.
He was jacked and tanned.
He was jacked and tanned. He was a Malibu Ken.
Pretty much that's what everybody's after. Right?
Y'all want to be jacked and tanned.
They want to be jacked and tanned. He was jacked. That's what he did. They used all his austerities to get all jacked and tanned.
Yeah. Hiraṇyakaśipu became the conqueror of the entire universe. Indeed, that great demon conquered all the planets in the three worlds, upper, middle, and lower, including the planets of human beings, the Gandharvas, the Garudas, the serpents, and the Siddhas, Charanas, and Vidyadharas, the great saints, Yamaraj, the Manus, the Yakshas, the Rakshasas, the Pishakas, and their masters, and the masters of the ghosts and Bhutas. He defeated the rulers of all the other planets where there are living entities and brought them under his control, conquering the abode of all. He seized their power and influence. We tend to think like we got a lot of power. There's so many subtle entities that can control us.
Subtle entities, huh? Okay.
Subtle entities. Bhutas, ghosts, yakshas. It's interesting. There's a species called the Garudas. They're like
yeah, there's a mention about that.
the eagle people. A Garuda just means eagle.
Yeah, big birds.
Big bird. Big
birds. Yeah, Prabhupada said the word Garuda in this verse indicates that they're planets of great birds like Garuda.
Which are like
similarly,
not
the word
just birds.
Uraga
Really.
indicates that there are planets of enormous serpents. What kind of creatures out there, Raga?
Yeah, I believe it. What do you think Nessie is?
Who?
Come on. Nessie, Loch Ness Monster.
Oh, Loch Ness Monster.
Serpent.
Oh.
That's
Think it's
real.
a serpent?
Well, it's a dragon. It's what it reappears. Text 8.
This is
Google
for
it.
your,
He's real.
when you start your own
Listen,
podcast, you can do all this stuff.
already said they are real, and if I said, well, there is one in Loch Ness, now I'm
Well, no, Loch Ness Monster.
fatty.
We don't know about that. That's
well, they
Bhagavatam
say it's exactly from the Bhagavatam. If it
What
walks like a duck and talks like a duck, Prabhu,
All right.
they're describing the Nagas in Loch Ness. Why is that such a far stretch for you?
It
can
is a stretch.
Well, sometimes beings visit other planets,
All right.
right? Other species have come here, impregnated humans. It's in the
Okay,
Mahabharata.
let's move on, please. Now.
Why is that funny, Mara? Got Mara with that one.
Okay. Text number 8 there, Raga. Text number 8.
Hiraṇyakaśipu, who possessed all opulence, began residing in heaven with its famous Nandana garden, which is enjoyed by the demigods. In fact, he resided in the most opulent palace of Indra, the king of heaven. So there's this planet that Indra lives in, which has a very famous botanical garden there. And,
Okay.
yeah, and they're talking about that now. The palace had been directly constructed by Mara. This is a trivia for you. Who is the architect of the demigods, Mara? Ooh, pretty good. Who's the She got it, Vishvakarma, she said. Now, here's another trivia question. Who is the architect of the demons, Mara? Close. Not Dantavakra.
Karuna got it.
Karuna got it? Yep. Maya Danava. Yeah. One little trivia.
The palace had been directly constructed
by Vishvakarma and was as beautifully made as if the goddess of fortune of the entire universe resided there.
So he's he's
Yeah.
taken everything from Indra. He's taken his, not only his position, he's taken his palace and everything.
Yeah.
Ran him out of there.
Ran him out of town. The steps of King, this happens a lot
Yeah.
throughout the world, invaders
Yeah.
come in, take over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting to see, anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but I'm waiting to see them do excavation on the Taj Mahal.
Okay.
Google up Taj Mahal Shiva temple. There's every chance that the Taj Mahal was actually a Shiva temple and not a mausoleum. It was replated by the Mughals. That's the theory. Okay. The steps of King Indra's residence were made of coral. The floor was bedecked with invaluable emeralds. The walls were of crystals, and the columns of Vaidurya stone. The wonderful canopies were beautifully decorated. The seats were bedecked with rubies, and the silk bedding, as white as foam, was decorated with pearls. The ladies of the palace, who were blessed with beautiful teeth and most wonderfully beautiful faces, walked here and there in the palace, their ankle bells tinkling melodiously, and saw their own beautiful reflections in the gems. The demigods, however, being very much oppressed, had to bow down and to offer obeisances at the feet of Hiraṇyakaśipu, who chastised the demigods very severely and for no good reason. Thus, Hiraṇyakaśipu lived in that palace and severely ruled over everyone. Talk about a colonist.
Tyrant.
He was a tyrant. The whole world is just like a history of tyrants kicking in doors, taking over other people's homes, taking over their cattle, their palaces, the jewels of the country.
Mhm.
Oh, my dear king, Hiraṇyakaśipu was always drunk on strong smelling wines and liquors, and therefore his coppery eyes were always rolling. Ugh. Nonetheless, because he had powerfully executed great austerities in mystic yoga, although he was abominable, all but the three principal demigods, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu, personally worshipped him to please him by bringing him various presentations with their own hands.
True.
That's horrible. It's humiliating.
Yeah.
O Maharaj Yudhisthira, descendant of Pandu, by dint of his personal power, Hiraṇyakaśipu, being situated on the throne of King Indra, controlled the inhabitants of all other planets. The two Gandharvas, Vishvavasu and Tumbaru, I, myself, and the Vidyadharas, Apsaras, and the sages all offered prayers to him again and again just to glorify him. Okay, you're right. So Narada is also saying this. Being worshipped by sacrifices offered with great gifts by those who strictly follow the principles of Varna and Ashram, Hiraṇyakaśipu, instead of offering shares of the oblations to the demigods, accepted them himself.
Interesting.
Why should I offer anything? It's for me. I'm the highest. I'm the best.
Yeah, you know, you and I have discussed this in the past, but just like the way that one's trained as a bhakti yogi, as a Vaishnava, is really anything that I receive, I pass on, right? In other words, sure, there's a certain amount of wealth or a certain amount of food or certain, things that we accept, but generally our idea is that we want to keep our necessities simple. But even things like praise, like the devotee doesn't accept them, and if they are praised, then from within they offer that to who they feel it should be offered to, right? To my own guru, to my own teacher, it's passed up the line.
Sure. Material consciousness means I'm snooping around desperately for validation. What do you think of this? You like what I'm doing? You like what I'm wearing? You like my house? You like my car? Whereas in the way we're trained in devotee culture is when someone says, hey, nice car. Oh, you know what? I got fortunate for this, or nice class you gave. Oh, you like that class? Well, I got it from my teacher. I have a great teacher.
Right.
It's always passing praise on, and it's not for false humility. It's actually a deep rooted honesty of I have what I have by the mercy of other people. Well, I'm really
And
fortunate to
yeah,
have this, you know.
and to not recognize that, and then to try to suck some enjoyment out of that is actually like poison. And you know, that's and this plays into the whole thing of like, you know, within the Western yoga world, like the Western yoga world in general, it's so it the majority of people that are in it have not been immersed in the culture, have never been immersed in the culture, and and so they, when they see that so many gurus have so much trouble, then rather see it through the ancient texts, they see the ancient texts through that, and so they say, well, maybe this whole guru thing never worked or doesn't work now or whatever, you know, that the nature of that relationship. But it's just that none of these, even these so-called gurus, they don't understand. And so when they're given praise or they're given, they don't understand that with deep within, they're meant to pass it on. And I remember Radha Swami speaking about this, and he says that praise, prestige that one gets in that role, if deep, if internally they're not deeply with deep humility saying, no, that is not for me to enjoy, it's passed on, then that becomes poison, and it kills you. You know.
Sure.
And so here
It's
we see Hiraṇyakaśipu, he's sucking it in. He's like whatever, you know, it's almost like you're working in a bank and you're just taking the money, you know, when people are making a deposit, you're keeping it for yourself. It's something like that, you
Sure.
know. It's
That's a great analogy. The
yeah.
teller receives the money. You can receive the praise, but the teller takes the money and puts it right in the bank.
They're
Once
not
you
even thinking
take
for a second it's mine.
taking millions of dollars every day in
Yeah.
cash given to the bank, once they take 10 cents, 1 penny, they become a thief.
Right.
So in teaching, and that's part of how you're trained to teach, is when you're teaching, you're accepting no credit as your own. Once you do, you realize this is now it's cheating, and it weighs heavy on a person. It can often, you see, it can ruin your spiritual life by accepting praise. And so we train ourselves to hand it right back, and not be snooping around for validation. Just the opposite. Give praise to where it belongs. Everything that we have was by the mercy of others, and it's been gifted to us. It's not ours to keep, and we're becoming like that bank teller. So we're studying all this stuff, and then we're passing it along. It's not our
Yeah.
stuff. And if you don't like what I'm saying, that's okay. It's not mine. If you like what I'm saying, I'm not taking the credit for it. I'm indemnifying myself from your praise, from the students' praise, and also from the students not liking it as well. I'm
For sure.
sorry. I'm a
Yeah.
yoga teacher, and I'm here to
I do my
teach.
job. Yeah.
I'm doing my job here.
Yeah.
You're
That's
very
right.
good at that, I found. You
And you're
present when
gonna,
you give a class on that, you present
but
it as, well, this is how the yogis teach it.
you know, what I was reading earlier, you know, about mastering these three different things, and the mastery of inner happiness, right? The idea being that when you deeply imbibe that, when you deeply know that, you're not searching for happiness through anything external. That doesn't mean just like, you know, we're hearing, as we've been reading along in this, we're hearing about the palace and the jewels and, you know, the
Right.
power and all of that. But in one sense, this is heavy, you know, that for us, we grow up, you know, watching images of famous people being praised in different ways or hearing stories about it. And most of us live relatively ordinary lives. And so it sounds like there must be the deepest enjoyment in that,
Sure.
you know, to be the center of adoration, to be the center of distinction. And in the practice of bhakti, it's not uncommon that as you advance in bhakti, you start to receive that.
Mm.
And it becomes, you know, or let's say spirituality in general, right? When people begin to recognize some of the ornaments that are displayed by a spiritual person, renunciation, knowledge, you know, things like that, people are impressed by them and they give praise. And if that aspirant, that spiritual aspirant, tries to taste that, tries to enjoy that, it's actually just like it's such a it backfires so powerfully, and
Mm.
that's and that's why when like when you and I hear about, oh, this big famous guru just like had some problem, for us it's not like, it doesn't challenge our faith, it actually confirms it. It actually confirms it, because you can see, and that's not even to like necessarily, sometimes we see some real
Red flag.
yeah, red flag, or just like where you really feel like that person is very bad intentioned person, but it's not even necessarily like that. Sometimes it's people that had good intentions but just didn't have the kind of guidance they needed to pass through these stages of spiritual progression.
Yeah, it's nothing to sort of take out on the person, like, oh, that person, they were never sincere. Just the opposite. You
Yeah.
should feel, if a person falls away due to getting too much praise and too much worship, I always look at it, oh, how sad for this person. How
Right.
sad. This person just couldn't keep it together. It's hard to get praise and not own a little bit of it. It's hard, especially in an echo chamber of being a guru, where everyone's telling you you're the best, you're the best, you're the best, and all of a sudden I have to be like, give this back to I gotta pass it on. I wouldn't want to be a guru. Actually,
Yeah.
it can really screw with your whole spiritual existence, where you're trying to see yourself as tiny part of something bigger, and all of a sudden you have like this echo chamber of people telling you you're the one, you're the one.
Yep.
It directly feeds the broken ego.
So Hiraṇyakaśipu's broken ego is taking it all in.
Sure. The real ego is I'm a spiritual being, part of God. The broken ego is I'm the center of the universe.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for satellites to validate me as the center.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Note that one down there, Mayor. Note that one.
I'm looking for
searching for satellites.
Searching for satellites. Text 16, as in fear of Hiraṇyakaśipu, the planet Earth, which consists of 7 islands, delivered food grains without being plowed. Thus, it resembled cows, like the Sarabi of the spiritual world, or the Kamadugha of heaven. The earth yielded sufficient food grains. The cows supplied abundant milk. Outer space was beautifully decorated with wonderful phenomenon.
Well, that sounds really great.
What?
It's wonderful. Beautiful pageantry.
I'm trying to figure that one out. But if that was confusing, wait till you read text 17. By the flowing of their waves, the various oceans of the universes, along with their tributaries, the rivers, which are compared to their wives, supplied various kinds of gems and jewels for Hiraṇyakashipu's use. The oceans were the oceans of, get ready for this one, people. If your faith was challenged ever, it's going to be, or hasn't been challenged, it'll be challenged now. These oceans were the oceans of salt water. Okay, understandable. Sugarcane juice. What? Wine. What? Clarified butter? Try water skiing on that. Milk, yogurt, and sweet water. Sweet water is what you consider fresh water. So like the Great Lakes are oceans of sweet water.
You sure? Because they mentioned sugarcane juices a second ago. So
well, yeah, that I can't explain the sugarcane juice, wine. I can't understand clarified, unless it was just like a milky clarified butter. That's ghee. Maybe it's a milky ocean, a milky-ish.
You never know. You
never know.
I read. I think I mentioned this to you once before, Raghunath, but I mentioned once. This was a commentary by Shankaracharya that I read on a Bhagavad Gita verse, I believe.
Diving into some Shankara, perhaps.
Oh, Shankara.
Shankara. Okay.
And,
what did he say about the sugarcane juice ocean?
No, he didn't talk about that. But what he was talking about was, in other places, in other Puranas, we read about how the universe has like 7 different coverings, 7 different layers, each one 10 times the previous.
Yeah.
Right. And those are earth, water, fire, air, like that,
Yeah.
And so then you're picturing, what kind of huge gobstopper are we in? It's like there's a huge layer of like false ego, and there's a huge, huge layer. But Shankar's what he wrote there, if I understood it correctly, and I think I did, is that he said it's something like this. It's like if someone puts a drop of poison in your plate of food,
Sure.
it's not that the whole plate is poison, but you call all the food on the plate poison now. Oh, don't touch it. That's poison.
Right.
And so similarly,
Continue.
it's not necessarily that these are huge gobstopper layers of 100% ego and 100% earth and 100% fire, but those elements are invested in those layers. Just, you understand?
What does this have to do with an ocean of wine?
Well, so what I'm
Right, we're gonna
saying
give you some
is
clarity to that. I thought you
our
were gonna
mind
shine some
immediately
light.
goes to like there's a big ocean and it's nothing but wine. Maybe that is the case, but maybe there are other explanations for it as well.
Maybe it's fermented water. Some plants fall in, a lot of fruit trees by the water, they fall in, the whole thing ferments.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm a big enough man to say I don't know everything.
Okay. Thank you for being that big, Ragnar.
You know what I mean? I don't know everything. Imagine living in another part of the world, and all of a sudden you find that. Imagine when you first found the Great Lakes, you must have been like, right?
What?
The Great Lakes are like oceans. Imagine first finding. How about the first people to find Niagara Falls? It must have been like, what? You ever go to Niagara Falls? It's unbelievable. How about
right.
just the first people to go to if you were like Captain Cook, the Grand Canyon. The first people to find the Grand Canyon must be like, what?
What's your point?
My point is there's fantastic things right in front of our face that we just haven't found yet.
All right.
So, ocean of sugarcane juice. Come on, people.
All right. Text 18.
That's it, man.
What,
That
we're
is
gonna
all
stop
you're
today?
getting today.
We have
That's
a
all
few
you're
more
getting.
minutes if you wanted to. Okay, Mary's ready to go.
Mary's ready to go.
We got takeaways.
She's got takeaways for you.
Anything we have to conquer can be considered part of our Bhakti practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it your best effort and be detached from the results.
Okay.
Yeah. Bhagavad Gita.
That's the way we do it. It's Gita. Yeah.
Return
Did you bump your nose, by the way? Did you bump your nose?
A little scratch or something?
Yeah,
You got some.
Got a little
Okay.
something up there.
All right. Just making sure there wasn't anything too serious.
I don't even know how it happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're doing all right.
Return unkindness with kindness.
There you go.
That sounds so Christian, doesn't it? Return unkindness with kindness.
Master an even mind, equal vision, and inner happiness.
1, 2, 3.
Strive to be successful emotion managers.
Mm-hmm.
Material consciousness is snooping around for validation.
Snooping.
Be a snoop.
Spiritual consciousness is deep-rooted humility.
Snoopy. Snoopy.
Pass on praise or it'll poison you.
Pass it on.
Pass on praise.
Broken egos search for satellites.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And Hiraṇyakaśipu was jacked and tan and the original colonizer.
Oh yeah.
Was the original?
What was it? What was that one that we had? Jacked and tanned and
Jacked, tan, and disappointed.
disappointed.
That was a good episode. Find that episode, people. Jacked, tan, and disappointed. Hiraṇyakaśipu was jacked and tan.
And eventually disappointed.
Yeah, it never ends good for these demons. That's a good lesson. That's a good takeaway. It never ends good for these demons. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. TheSages.com/events. You can join us in Italy. If you haven't pre-ordered my book,
That was episode 742.
Punk to Monk.
Sorry.
Amazon.com. Order it.
Which episode?
Ray Capo.
That was episode 742.
Are you guys going to really step all over my book advertisement?
You're stepping over the.
Wagner's book. Double it.
If you have pre-ordered it,
Double it.
maybe there's a friend of yours that would like it too.
8 copies.
8 copies. Double it. Double that. 16 copies. Big deal. Small investment. You can change people's lives. Even a copy of the book.